So a wonderful way of exploring then that kind of movement, that pelvis in transition, being very mindful of as that pelvis glides laterally, as it elevates and rotates, is to be very aware of also the orientation, especially through that trail side of the pelvis. So often what we can see in a very problematic way is as the pelvis is gliding laterally, that trail side of the pelvis elevates, which can then be very problematic around things like such as kind of compressions through the trail side of the spine, torsion, etc., lengthens through the lead side into neck, elbow, kind of wrist issues. So really way of encouraging that lovely movements with that kind of pelvis, holding that lead hand only, using that kind of trail hand, just kind of actively then glide and move that trail side, that kind of pelvis downwards as it starts to laterally shift, as it then rotates into, as it approaches impact. So using that kind of trail hand to actively glide that pelvis down, move that kind of trail, very informally, that trail hip downwards as that pelvis glides, can be a lovely way of then exploring that movement in transition equally. So if you kind of place that hand on that trail hip and start to then elevate that trail hip, almost then the pelvis doesn't really move or glide laterally as it moves in transition. So to encourage that lovely lateral glide whilst keeping that trail side down, to keep the length in the spine, to avoid excessive compression, tension on either side, excessive torsion through the spine, which then often connects into kind of neck, elbow, kind of wrist-based issues. Really nice way of encouraging this. Again, using that kind of trail hand, actively kind of glide that pelvis laterally, keeping that trail side of the pelvis down, can be a wonderful way then exploring that lovely kind of movement, a very healthy, sustainable movements with that pelvis as it moves in transition and into impact.